Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge, and welcome to another episode of Every Damn Day. Today, I'm down in the sanctuary, which is looking gorgeous right now. Can't wait for this Freedom Fest weekend to get started. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, come out to the Fledge. We got food, we got entertainment, we have speakers, we have vendors, and on Monday we have tons of resources for returning citizens related around housing and transportation and employment and all kinds of different things. So even if you're not a returning citizen and you need to find some resources, Monday's going to be a great day to come down, and Monday is the day where everything is free and we're all going to start to act freer. So come check us out. Also want to give a shout out to thisent.com and Joe Walker for writing the little summary that he posted yesterday on thisent.com. So check that out, and always 517living.com. So today on the show, I've got a really special guest, somebody I've known. I tell you, I've known people for 100 years. Well, here's one of the guys that I've known for 100 years. What's up, Ron? So Mr. Ron DeLeon.
What's up, Jerry? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. So what you been doing today?
Just got off my bus about a half hour ago, 45 minutes ago.
You're a well-liked bus driver, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
You've won that. Doesn't City Pulse have a?
That top of the town.
Yeah, top of the town.
Yeah, I got an award for every kid.
Yeah.
Got my 5 kids, and I've got an award for each of them to take home with them. So
Dang,
yeah, life
just
is good.
Like Muhammad Ali 5 times.
That's right.
So let's jump into you a little bit. I think people might know your name because you put up a lot of signs around town, and you're also, as a bus driver, I think you've become kind of the I don't know what the icon,
that's a strong word. Know. I just drive in circles, Jerry.
Well, your face is everywhere.
Yeah, it is now. It is right now.
So tell us about what you and where you were born and raised and where you went to school and stuff.
I was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina. My father was in the military, so he was over there. So lived in North Carolina for a few years, then moved to San Antonio, Texas. And when I was 5 years old, we moved to Lansing, and been in Lansing ever since.
Where are some of the schools you went to?
Oh, I'm sorry. I went to Wood Creek Elementary. Went to Dwight Ritz Junior High School. Went to Harry Hill High School, and then when they closed it, the last 2 years, I went to J.W. Sexton and graduated from Sexton in 1983.
Yeah. Where'd you grow up? I was supposed to go
over in the south side. Yeah, over off of Glenburn, between Holmes and Jolly.
Yeah. I know that well.
Yeah, great area over there.
So I grew up, and that's fairly close to Hill.
Yeah, very close.
Yeah, and I grew up on Hag Road.
Oh, okay.
Over by Atwood.
Yeah, you're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was supposed to go to Hill too, but it got closed.
When they closed it.
So I never went there.
I think I'm like 2 years older than you?
Are you that much
older?
I'm
not much older than you.
I thought either 1 or 2.
2 years. I just turned 56 last week.
Yes. I'll be 55 in September.
And you wear it well, brother.
Oh, thank you.
You wear it well.
And you do too.
Mine's Photoshop. It travels with me wherever I go. So
yeah, we are photoshopping live.
That's right.
To keep Ron looking sweet. So what? So that was a while ago that you graduated from Sexton.
Quite
right?
some time ago.
So you must have graduated 82?
83.
83. So 84 for me.
Yeah.
So we're only I thought it was a year.
Yeah, maybe it's about a year difference.
So you were the last class at Hill, which was my first year in high school. I would have been at Hill.
Yeah.
So I was the last to not go to Hill.
Okay.
That's still a pretty big gap. What you been doing?
Been busy doing a lot of everything. I started from doing a men's flag football league, the Lansing Flag Football League, and I played in the league for like 12 years, and then ran the league my last 8. And even though it's flag, it was hella competitive, 9-on-9, full contact with no pads. We had the likes of like Plexico Burris when he was redshirted at Michigan State, played out there. Demetrius Martin, all Big Ten defensive back. Tommy Boyd from Lions. We all played out there. So it was a great time, good times. Did that for 8 years, running the league as a league commissioner. And then what happened, and my buddy.
Let me ask you a question real
Sure.
quick. Did you play flag football when you were a kid?
Yes, I did.
Can you name all those teams?
Oh, Geno's Generals. That was my team back in the day.
Wainwright,
That's
Geno's
right.
Generals.
I tell you what, when you're a kid, I drive by there every now and then. I tell my kids, when you're a kid, and I think I started when I think I was like 8 or 9 years old. I remember the helmet was big, it's bouncing off the side of my head. But more importantly, we had to run from the street to Wainwright, which if you drive by it now, it's like what, maybe 50 yards?
Yeah.
But back when you're 8 years old, man, that was like a mile.
Oh, I
You're
know.
driving,
Look,
you're running all the way over there, driving all the way back. But some of even the importance of having that guidance, that leadership of having that structured platform, to perform on. I mean, just that stays with you for the rest of your life, and that's why I love what we have with our community right now. We just put you doing so much for our community.
Yeah,
man, you're a blessing, Jerry.
Well, we're gonna. I don't want to talk about me being a blessing, but
you're
a blessing too. I want to talk about that a little bit more as we get
sounds
further.
Great.
But I want to. I played for Frosty Root Beer and then Athletes Village.
Okay, I remember.
And then I betrayed everybody on Athletes Village and jumped over to Geno's Generals.
You went you took the right path.
So that's why we didn't cross paths, because you must have been there the year. I must have played against you one year and then played on that team with Billy Lopez and Terry Woods.
Those are all my
Keith
guys.
Gentry and all these people.
Because we played you guys in the city championship.
Yep.
Geno's Generals versus Athletes Village.
Yeah.
City championships, and that was, we laugh about this because I've been here my whole life. The only time my face has ever been in the newspaper, in the Lansing State Journal, no disrespect to the Lansing State Journal, was when I was like 10 years old. We played you guys in the championship, and I think I'm pulling a flag or about to pull a flag or something like that. And that was many moons ago.
I'm in the same article, and I'm sitting on my helmet looking disgruntled because you guys beat us.
Yeah.
And then the next year, the city championship was the same two teams. I was on the Generals, and we lost in overtime because Mike Curley had my number that day, and I could not get any yards.
That's crazy. So good times.
I'm a loser.
No, you're far from a loser. I'm going to tell you two things real quick, if you don't mind. Being a fight promoter, as I am right now.
Yeah.
And I'm ring announcing at my events. And I see the fighters coming up with their fight music. Your intro to your shows, see, people, it's really funny. A lot of people know you, the laid back, chill Jerry Norris right now. I know the monster. I remember the monster within Jerry Norris.
I've told you guys before, I'm the monster.
The man. But when I hear your intro to your show, I think of me being in the ring and you with the smoke, you coming out, Jerry, like, that's Jerry Norris. That's who I still remember you. That's envision you as like that man, just feared by so many dudes. You won so many matches before the match even started. You had that aura about you, and that was just such a beautiful thing. And to now be in your show is just so badass. So
man,
I appreciate your time.
I'm the one who's honored here. We're gonna sit here complimenting each other all day. Let's not do that so much. Except for I do want to compliment you, because I think that you've been very persistent in making the boxing promoting and everything you're doing happen. And I think you hint to that, or some of the motives to that. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but with what you do today is kind of stepping in that gap between where the kids are missing mentors or coaches or sometimes a parent or family that's helping them. We've got to step in that gap better. And I stole that phrase from Sherry Pruitt the other day, because I think it sums up what us as men today, we've got to get back there and be those coaches and those mentors and all of that.
I agree.
And I admire you for what you do.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Something that you hit on right now, and I'll bring it up if you don't mind. Had a dear lifelong friend of mine, Cecil Johnson, passed away of COVID a little bit ago. And at his service, we had talked about that. And it's like us in the 70s. Think about that. We talk about today's kids have so much. They've got the Xbox, they got the internet, they got Facebook, they got social media, they everything.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I feel bad for them, because us growing up, we had each other.
Yeah.
We didn't have all that. So the bonds we formed, You know, those are lifelong bonds you have right there. And you learned about responsibility, and you learned about looking out for each other as a community, and doing positive things for each other that today's youth, they really don't know about that. You know, they're on the Xbox, do Fortnite, whatever they're doing, and they miss that part. And it's a sad thing, like you said, that growing up with that guidance, that's everything right there.
Yeah. I had a lot of people telling me, you can get a full ride, you can go to college, you've got great grades, you can keep that up, you can be a software engineer or whatever I wanted to be. And I believed them. I think these kids now, though, because they don't see those examples, they don't have each other, they don't always have Lansing raising them, because Lansing raised us.
Yes, they did.
Not just our parents, but the whole damn city raised us.
It's a village. It really is a village.
And you know, they don't have that now, so they don't believe those opportunities. They're all fake to them. That's what they see on TV. So the opportunities seem much more narrow to our current kids, and it makes them, I guess you would say, desperate.
I agree. So, I agree. And then the outlets they choose, some of them aren't good. You know, they don't have it like that. So
so let's talk more about what you're doing. You know?
Okay, so then just promoting my fights. Very happy to announce that this year would have been my 23rd year promoting of the events. Had to stop obviously because of COVID. You know, the restrictions they had as far as my venue is the Lansing Center. I love doing my shows. It's such a professional, upscale venue. And I just love what I do. And basically, in a nutshell, it's giving these young men and women the opportunity, giving them a platform to showcase their skills, and it's such an empowering thing for these guys. You see them walk up, you see them training, getting ready for that. And there's something so special about that they will always have that. I got guys that ride my bus later on, maybe times might get hard, and they'll bring up, remember that time, man, I shined out there and did that. And, for a lot of people, man, this is that driving force that keeps them motivated, keeps them going. So to be able to provide that, it's such a blessing to me. I've always said I've never been motivated by money. I've been motivated by the opportunity to let others showcase their skills. And money comes and goes, but what you put in that, and that gives, always gives back. So such a win-win.
What I say about money right now is, as I continue to I'm trying to get to minimalism. I want very few things. I want the same clothes. I should have shouted out to Black Lives Matter. Sorry about that. I always do my T-shirt.
I love your shirts.
And, the less you have, the more you can give to the revolution, the less you have to lose. And stepping in the space gets easier and easier every day as I realize, just sitting here with you is entertainment in itself. This is so much fun, catching up. And we're working, but we're having fun. We're promoting, but we're having fun. We're entertaining. We're educating. We're getting educated. And I don't know. I love a more simple life. Where it's back towards, those days when we had each other like that.
The simplicity of it all is everything.
And, back then, Lansing was still just as diverse as it is today. And so we know, we knew people from everywhere. And they looked like us. They didn't look like us. And it didn't matter. And it didn't matter.
I tell you one thing that was funny. I just spoke to Jerry before we went on air, is we talked about when our paths first crossed. And that was wrestling. Jerry was wrestling for Gardner, and I was wrestling for Dwight Rich. And I think that was in the 1978, 79, maybe 79?
78 or 79.
So to say I've known this man for quite some time is an understatement. So
that's 43 years.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, that's insane. Did you ever go to the Civic Center and the Golden Gloves?
I participated in the Golden Gloves.
At the Civic Center?
At the Civic Center. I fought in the 91 Golden Gloves, and this was 139 pounds. It was about 2,000 Burrito Supremes ago, back when I was still a skinny man. But competed and did really well, and that was 1991. And then the next year, they started doing going to a different going to Grand Rapids for them. So.
Sorry about that. Don't know if his phone's ringing in the background, but we'll let it ring for a second.
Yeah, it should stop soon.
So you boxed and you wrestled?
I wrestled very briefly. Okay. I wrestled enough to know that it wasn't for me. I'm going to tell you a funny Pat Kerr story. A lot of you guys, the wrestling guys, know who Pat Kerr is. He's a local legend out of Eastern High School, correct, with you?
Yeah.
And
right.
yeah, I think he didn't go to Eastern.
He was. He didn't. I never wrestled with him, but
No, he's older than us.
Yeah,
he was older than me.
Yeah, I think he was Eastern.
But my brother said, "Come do this freestyle tournament." And I said, "That's cool. I can do that." And I've never freestyled in my life. Never wrestled it. I only wrestled 1 year. And with no disrespect to our old coach, Dwight Rich really didn't have a coach. Well, we had Ed, who was a great guy. He was one of the custodians over there. And what he basically did is he says, "Okay, what we're going to do is I don't know very little about wrestling. I'm going to unlock the doors for you. You guys just." So we did our thing for an hour and a half a day. So we didn't really have coaching at Dwight Rich during that time. That's it became pretty good later, but I remember going over and doing that. So, but it was so long ago. And so anyways, my brother says, "Go wrestle." And you got this guy named Pat Kerr. And I'm like, "That Pat Kerr?" He goes, "Yeah, that Pat Kerr." And he says, "Okay." He says, what you do is don't lock up with this guy. Don't lock up with him. I said, "Okay, cool." So I figured, I know everything. First thing I'm going to do is go lock up with him. So I go over there, lock up with them. And next thing you know, this guy's so weak. He's so light. Like, what's going on? Something's got to give here, right? Next thing I know, I see my feet. I see lights. And I see, I think it was Rocky Shaft was there at the time.
Yeah.
Because there was a whole tournament. And I saw my brother and the referee like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Like, he just threw me like nothing. And that was my indication, you know what, maybe wrestling's not for you. So that was my one and done year, did that. And I still played competitive tennis, played football through school, basketball, and got boxing after I got out of high school and thoroughly enjoyed that.
I didn't know you played competitive tennis.
Yeah, I played I've been playing since I was like 12, 13 years old.
See, I always loved to play, but never was very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to change. You're going to be in my tennis tournament coming up next month.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a tournament coming up over Waverly High School. I'll talk to you a little more about that as well too.
Okay.
So,
well, let's get into that. What are some of your projects?
Well, what I do right now is I've got a dear lifelong friend named Brian Ferguson. A lot of people know Joel Ferguson, former MSU Board of Trustees, and just a great guy. And Brian used to come watch us play tennis back in the day. Him and his brother Chris Ferguson also ended up coaching over at Sexton High School.
Yep.
But what had happened is Brian ended up passing away of cancer 16 years ago. And he did so much for our community as far as mentoring our city's youth, what we talked about, as far as with softball, with tennis, with basketball. And I wanted to do something to keep his legacy alive because he was such a positive force, doing so good for our community. And if you ever met Brian, I would say, "Hey, Brian, this is my buddy Jerry. Jerry, this is Brian." He says, "You mean the great Brian?" The great Brian, because he was a comedian as well, funny as hell. So I named the tournament the Great Brian Ferguson Memorial Tennis Challenge. And it's always the second weekend in August. And it's 100% of the proceeds go to the American Cancer Society in Brian's name. So about 4 years ago, his brother Christian passed away of cancer as well. So now it's the Great Brian and Christian Ferguson Memorial Tennis Challenge. I'm very happy to announce of all the things that I do, this is the one that brings me so much joy because we're giving back to our local community, but more importantly, it's keeping the legacy of Brian and Christian Ferguson alive. And like I said, this coming August, August 14th and August 15th at Waverly High School tennis courts. This year will be our 16th year doing that tournament. With, like I said, 100%, it's $20 to play in the tournament per person per event. We've got college players, the guys that have just never picked up a racket before but want to give back. And obviously different divisions, different skill levels, different age levels. But 100% of the proceeds go to the American Cancer Society and these two great men's names. So very proud to be a part of that.
I would love to participate.
Well, you're already in there. So
we'll be promoting that then.
That's what's up. Let's do it. Summer. Yes.
What else you got going on?
Just waiting for our next event coming up. I've got a big event coming up at the end of a big personal event coming up at the end of the year that we're planning that right now. Yeah. So that's on a personal level. And then after that's over with, going to go right back to the fights, looking hopefully early next year to come back and do our thing. So
I think we're doing our first pro wrestling.
Oh, nice.
July 17th.
Oh, so very nice.
Build the ring again.
Oh, very nice.
And get it going.
Very nice.
You ever been to one of those?
I have not, but I'd love to help you out.
We do a VIP party up in the balcony.
Oh, very nice.
So we'll see if
very nice.
I can't get you over here.
I'll definitely attend.
So what else?
Let's see here. That's pretty much it as far as that. I'm working with Mike McCallum,
Yeah.
local actor,
Yep.
local director. He's with Rebels
Yep.
Pictures. He's talked about doing a project together with us. I was in a project with him called These Hands, little cameo role in a Capital City Film Festival.
Yeah.
And then I was in a small bit for my buddy, a former MSU grad, Carlos Mendoza,
Yeah.
called Sonder.
Yeah.
And I was in that. So they wanted me to start dabbling in some of the smart parts like that.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
You gonna be a big movie star?
I wouldn't know. At 4'11", man, I can only do so much.
You are not 4'11".
No, I'm close. Man. Aspiring to be 5 foot someday. But
You're making me look short. If you're 4'11", I'm 4'10".
But I was bummed because my son Thiago was huge in the Marvel comics. Loves watching we watch all the shows and all that. And they had I can't remember what agency they had me go through, but I was gonna be like an extra when Batman and Superman came to town to videotape it. I mean to film the movie. They filmed some of it over at the Michigan State Art Museum out there. And I got like 9 calls, interactions back and forth. How we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, the timing of it and all that. And I think the next thing I had to do was get fitted for the outfit I was gonna wear and all that. And then one time I had missed their call, and I had an event that following weekend. I had a fight coming up at the Lansing Center, and so then the call stopped. And I found out later that they had said that they thought I might be too busy with running my own event, that I might miss filming or something like that. So they went a different direction, and that was one that kind of got away that I was kind of bummed with, just because my kid loves the Marvel comics so much, and it'd be kind of cool. Just even being away doesn't matter. Just be a part of that would be kind of cool. So, but that was my Mitch as far as that goes. So
all right, and then obviously you have your bus driving job.
Yes.
Anything big happening there?
Next week will be July 10th. Will be my 23rd year driving the bus.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been driving 23 years on the campus of Michigan State University in Greater Lansing area, and that's why I know so many people. Just interact with the people and the kids out there, and you feel so inspired because you see these young kids, doing something productive with their lives, like furthering your education, doing that. And I jump on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I'm on all all those, Snap, I'm on all of them, and you see some of my students from 15 years ago the timid freshmen, and now they're married, running their own business with a family. And it's so cool. But as you said, it shows our age as far as, it's been that long. But anytime you're a part of that and part of someone's story, it's such a beautiful thing. So,
And that, to have young people come up to me, or even my friends come up to me from way back then, and just get talking and just chatting it up. And, it's important to have friends.
It's very important.
Connection.
It's very important. In bringing up friends real quick, if you don't mind, I wrote it down because I don't want to mess it up. Okay. As far as a shout out to local friends, I love what you do, Jerry. I know that you said this is, it's about, as far as making you shine, but you shine. You're a leader. You're a pillar in our community. We respect you so much for the opportunity you provide for people to do that.
Well, thank you.
And some of the other ones I want to just shout out real quick is Michael and Erica Lynn over at America 20 to Life and the Village Lansing.
Love the Village.
You got to get those guys. Check those guys out. What they do, they provide a voice for our community as well. They just, as far as what they do, the service they provide are unmatched. Trini Pelavanoglu with the Ingham County Equal Rights, Equal Opportunity Committee. I've known her for so many years. She, as a matter of fact, was working the tournament with me when we first started the tennis tournaments as well.
Oh, cool.
Known her and her family for years. Such a positive influence. I call her our local AOC. She gets stuff done. St. Benavides.
Just recently met her.
Did you?
Yeah.
Great girl. Great family. St. Benavides with Cafecito Caliente. Another guy doing local things. He's our age, actually. Went to high school with them and all. They play tennis and play sports with them. But doing so much for our community. Willie Glass with Glass Boxing. It's a local boxing club right off of Holmes Road and MLK. Just opening the doors.
That name in a long
Willie Glass,
time.
that's my guy right there. I'm gonna be heading to his gym right after I leave here, as a matter of fact. See CC Bordeo with the Pass It On Community Center. What she's doing. Henry Meyer at Eastside Fish Fry.
Of course.
I mean, this guy, he employs people that can't get employed. People that did their time and came out of, and looking for an opportunity. He provides that for them. I mean, these are things that you can't even put a price on what these guys do for our community.
Yeah.
Our buddy Shane Tisdale.
Yep.
Love Shane to death.
He was on the show.
I saw him. See,
Yeah.
I love the guys like you and Shane because I can see eye to eye with you guys. Another one of our guys like that. But just one of those guys that, like I said, with that group of people that I feel our community's in good hands.
Yeah.
So we got guys like you that are still leading people in the right direction, and that's what this community needs. It needs direction. We've got our youth right now that, as you said, they seem lost at times.
Yeah.
They turn to negative outlets because they don't have a lot right now. So some of the names I mentioned, I'll put this on my wall as well. Check some of these organizations out, guys. We got great people trying to do doing great things in our community. Our voice, if you need a voice.
Hey, you didn't have any more? I don't mind.
No.
That
That was it. It was just
All
a
right.
couple of things I was doing as far as for our community and what they provide for our community.
Yeah.
So just great things. So.
And I can't reiterate enough, the Village Lansing, America 20 to Life, check it out. Two important not even upcoming, they're established with both of those organizations, but two organizations that are just going to two things they're doing that are going to get greater and greater.
Yes. Yeah.
So really excited to watch all of that unfold.
Yeah. Very exciting stuff.
How would you kind of look at your mission? Like, what's your personal mission?
I would say my personal mission is to stay positive, upbeat, be that light that I think our community needs.
Yeah.
I started out, as I talking about with our boxing, I had a gym in my basement with Leroy Ortega, another great name from Eastern High School. Outstanding coach, boxing coach, MMA coach now. We started Ortega DeLeon Boxing Club in our basement. And went out there and as far as you said, as far as my mission, as far as with kids, we've got so many kids. Kids jump on my bus today that are older now. Oh my God, I used to work out in your basement, and some names you remember, some faces you remember, you kind of don't right now. And doing that right now with Tyrone Harris. You know Tyrone Fist of Fury Harris?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Fist of Fury gym out of my basement right now. And there's, it's just come out there and get a workout in and just do a positive thing. So as far as my mission is just continuing to do that, giving kids and young men and women an opportunity to do something positive, in a positive way. These young kids ride my bus, Lansing, everybody wants to be hard.
Yeah.
They think they're hard,
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I'm like, you can start a fight on my bus right now, or I can direct you to one of our gyms. You can get in a fight on my bus right now and go to jail, or you can learn how to fight and possibly make some money at this and do something positive with your life, and those are things that are so important to me, because at the end of the day, my family's here. My children are here. And if you don't do that, who's going to do that?
Yeah. Don't you wish you could just be there when, this is going to sound weird, but be there when the guns come out and say, I'm stepping in this gap.
Yeah.
Let's go settle this like we used to settle it.
Let's
agree. Go box it out.
I agree. Drive around with the pair of boxing gloves.
But it always escalates, right? It's never, most of those fights, they never end in you shaking hands.
It never does.
Right?
Back in our day, you fought, you got it over with. You end up being friends later.
You might have cried for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. But those other guys.
Yeah, the other guys. Like I said, the monster within you.
No.
Nowadays, everybody wants to be tough, and guys end up on T-shirts with wings.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because, this is our community.
We talk about that all the time around here because, especially the young men and the young boys that, they want to be young men. They want to be hard. They stand out on that porch and they're talking and they're flexing and all of that. You get them in here alone, they sit down and they relax, and you see that little kid in them.
You do.
And it's so sad to watch them transform back. And then eventually, we'll end up at Rotary Park or something that's
tragic.
Not good.
Tragic.
So, what's something you do every damn day to push your mission forward?
I think it starts from home. I think it really starts from home. As far as my children, trying to instill those values in them as far as the importance of responsibility and integrity and leadership. You wake up every morning with that fresh start of like, okay, let's do this, as far as trying, like I said, instill those values in them so they can spread it on like that. It's one of those things that it can't be a phase. It's got to be a lifestyle. It's got to be a frame of mind. It's how you look at life. You know, I think we're all different, and everybody's here for a purpose. Everybody's here for a reason, and to find your purpose and to fit in. Our community is just one big puzzle, and it's putting that puzzle together and looking out for your fellow man. They look out for you as well. Yeah. And as far as that's my mindset every damn day, and that fits perfectly with what you said. It's like just trying to do the right thing, because we have people out here that are doing well and trying to. There's this group and that group and this group and everybody's trying to do their positive and all that. But I'll preach religiously to any that'll listen. That the meaning of all this is balance. You've got to be able to balance that. You've got a family. I've got a family. Half the people I mentioned on here all have families, and they provide for their families. They take care of their families, and still are able to make the time to do that. Right. To balance the time management is just everything. You know, if I go out there and I'm on the streets 24/7 preaching this and preaching that, but I'm not taking care of my kids at home, you know, am I really doing enough for the community? Because right now, my children that are unattended, underwatched, you know, neglected, they're going to be tomorrow's problem.
Right. So
that's where it starts. It starts at home. So once you focus on that and get that going, like the sky's the limit, man.
Do you ever feel like you're also adopting a bunch of kids?
I am. I am. And I love that. And it's part of that whole thing as far as we are a brother's keeper. Yeah. You know, we are a brother's keeper at the end of the day.
So, we daisy chain these shows together.
Okay.
And yesterday on the show, I had Drew. He's really into coffee. And getting back to kind of what do you call it? The more I guess archaic ways of doing things. But I don't mean that archaic like obsolete. I mean like going back to when it was more simple, more mechanical.
Just simplicity. We talk. Yeah, just definitely.
And his question to you is, what do you see when you see a piece of land?
A piece of land.
Yeah.
Like just like an open field or like that.
Yeah.
I see opportunity, man. I see opportunity. I see you cultivating it, right?
I would love.
Let's make it a big city vegetable garden. Let's do something like that to show the kids that there's more to it than video games, more than technology. You know, teach them with this COVID taught us anything that there's a lot of times we have to rely on ourselves. Yeah. So turn it over to that. Turn it into put that land and make it a community center. You know, make it something positive for our community, because it's going right back to us. Because the more negativity that's out there, it's going to be shot right back at us. Yeah. So the more we can deflect that, and the better off this community will be. So I would see opportunity.
All right.
Yeah.
So tomorrow on the show, I have Tamakaya Foster. Do you know her?
I do not.
And Tamakaya, so she's a healthcare worker, a nurse. She is a badass when she's doing that. But when she's not doing that, she's a badass for social justice.
Oh, nice.
So
nice.
What question would you like me to pass on to her?
That's a hard one now. After you told me her background.
Right. Yeah.
Because of the fact that what I always do is ask people, like, what are they doing for the community? Yeah. What difference are you making? And her background already shows what she's doing.
Yeah, she's probably already going to talk about that a lot.
Well, that's awesome.
Let's ask her something random. More random.
More random than that, I guess, would be. Let me see. I guess it'd be how do we start that new mindset of negativity that's going around right now? Like as we talked about, everybody's so hard, everybody's so negative. How do we make that? And I know it's a hard question to even answer. It's hard to even ask because I'm trying to even get it out how I'm trying to present it. But how do you change everybody's way of thinking?
Yeah.
You know, and that's I know it's an impossible question to ask, but where do we go from here? You hear all the think tanks of how to change our community, make it better. I mean, stop thinking one way. People are raised one way and they think this is the only way. And obviously, as you see with all the negativity, all the violence in our community, what's going to change? What's the first steps we really need to take to do that?
Yeah.
So it's a hard question. And even answering it myself, it's hard to even try to.
Well, I am going to
articulate that. Yeah, I guess that's just basically it. It's a think tank. It's like getting the minds together and thinking, what's it going to take? I mean, obviously, it's gun violence. Mm-hmm. It's obviously, but it's also how a lot of these our youth were raised. You know, with social media, everybody wants to be hard.
Yeah.
You know, you can't punk somebody out on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and all that, and not expect retaliation. You know, because now you got your reputation. Right now, we heard, oh man, I heard Jerry beat this guy up back in the 70s. Well, there's no proof. Right now, that video is going viral.
Yeah.
So it's a hard question to answer, but it needs to be addressed. It needs to be answered for the safety of our future, for our children.
I think that you know, kind of going back to COVID and how, you know, we all had to be vulnerable because we didn't have a choice, right? We had to have a mask. That's vulnerability. We had to, you know, get our food from different sources. We were running out of toilet paper or whatever, all these silly things. And then we've got this fear of death. We've got financial crisis upon us. 2020 made us all have to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it got me thinking about vulnerability quite a bit. And I realized it was like an epiphany that every strength I've ever had has come out of a place of vulnerability. So if I'm lifting weights, it's that weakness. It's pushing through that. And I think 2021 should be a year of vulnerability because our new strength doesn't come from our current strength.
Yeah.
It comes from that vulnerability.
That's true.
And if we can get in that mindset, then maybe the way to get hard is through that vulnerability, not just be hard and be this and push people around and stuff like that. I don't know.
That was beautiful, Jerry. That's awesome. I love that. I love that.
So let's look at little comments. I hope that Deacon Earl's talking about your T-shirt.
Oh, that's what's up. This is my man, Deacon Earl. Say what's up, Deacon Earl. This is my guy.
Who is that?
This is Deacon Earl right here. Local artist.
Yeah, I know.
He's the man. He's the real deal.
I've met him before.
He's a great guy. This is my guy right here.
Hi, Deacon.
Yes.
And then
what's up, Deacon? Had to represent my brother.
You said his name, so he had to come on and. Well, thank you for that. Saying one blank day at a time.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you for that, everyone. And then, she misses Lansing.
Who's that?
So, Jesse, do you know? I think she must know you. She said, Ron.
Oh, yes. Hello, how you doing? Good seeing you.
So, all right, I'm going to throw 4 words at you.
Okay.
Happiness, sadness, joy, or hope. Which word or combination of words would you like to talk about?
I think hope is the easy one. Hope is a no-brainer.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is because it's we have to have hope. We have to hope for a better tomorrow. We've got to hope for change. Hope for as I talk about even with the people I mentioned here with Sane and CC and Mike and Erica and other people I mentioned. It's like we need people like that. And we need more leaders like that to come make the change. So as far as hope in that we find those solutions for our community, so every day is a new day. It's a new day of hope. It's a new day of finding a different solution to get, to make this come to fruition.
As a person, have you ever had zero hope? And then the follow-on question is it even possible? How is that possible that can happen?
I hate when people say me personally, because obviously it's me, but I've never felt that way. I've always had a strong belief in my faith. And on top of that, with my children as well, it's like you've got to be there for them, 24/7. So, you can't be no chinks in the armor. You can cry like a baby at night when it's all said and done. When I just think when you focus on what's really important, there's so much negativity in the world, and I definitely avoid negativity. Like the plague. You focus on the positive, because if you focus on the negative, we all have negativity in our life. No one's perfect, but when you focus on negativity, it just takes away from what your true goal is. So yeah, I just don't even see it.
But there are a lot of people that have close to zero.
Oh no, I agree.
Whether it's substance use here or oppression, the racism in our systems, and all of that. How can we give somebody hope?
That's a good question. I think it's one of those things. It's maybe like through example, showing how this person was once where you are. You know, they got with this organization. You know, they got into their faith more. They got into this community center. They did something that stimulated their mind and their growth and their thought process to think in a positive light. But I mean, that's pretty much it. I would think, because it's like you've got to have show an example. Because I told everyone with Kamala Harris won to be the vice president. Mm-hmm. It's like I told my daughter with biracial, my biracial children. It's like it's one thing to say it. You can do this, but when you actually see it,
that's right.
Seeing it is everything. And when you see that, so with that being said, give them an example of how their life can change. Yeah. There's always tomorrow.
I always give the example of the white accountant showing up at a class for junior achievement or something like that and saying, well, you can be an accountant too. And then all the kids sitting there saying, I never met anybody that looks like me who's an accountant.
That's it. Visualization is everything.
I also, I want to just, people that they'll say, well, gun violence doesn't have anything to do with me, or I can't do anything about it, or they close their eyes to it. And there is a simple thing, especially if you're like let's just say an older white gentleman, for example, just trust these kids a little bit more, be kind to them a little bit more, smile at them, say hello to them, help them, ask them for help, and let's start rebuilding some of the fabric of these relationships with just doing the little polite things, because it's nothing more disheartening than me seeing, an older person giving that evil eye to a kid, and that kid, reacting to that. And it hurts people when you do that. And all those little bitty hurts can really add up to something. So let's at least start saying hello to each other and smiling and waving and treating each other like the human beings that we are.
I agree. I had in the past, I would train a lot of the bus drivers. They'd have me, speak to them, or they'd have me, ride my bus with me and like that. And that's like 101. That's the first thing. It's like, has nothing to do with the ride. It has to do with make them understand that they're just another person. You treat every old person that's taking forever, and now you're behind schedule. You treat that person like that's your grandmother.
That's right.
You treat every kid that's loud in the back of the bus. That could have been your 10-year-old kid that's back there finally, is cooped up in school all day, kind of, and like you said, just that show that humanity. You treat everybody as if that's your own family member right there. People view things a lot differently. People go in with such a preconceived notion. It's like, well, this is a bad area of town, so it's going to be like this. Well, this is a good area of town, it's going to be like this. And you're not giving people the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. So like you said, that those random acts of kindness. I'm going to tell you one other thing too. It's a couple minute story if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
This has to do with my buddy, Joel Langlois, dear friend of mine out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, owns the Delta Plex in Grand Rapids, and he's really well connected, really good guy. And I tell this story to a lot of people. I've probably heard this story before, but I remember a time when my daughters now 26 and 25 years old. I remember this is back when it was Fall Out Boy, Plain White Tees, Hey There Delilah songs. Remember that era? Yeah. Was like 15 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe right around there. I remember he calls me up one day and he says, "Hey, Ron, what do you know about these groups?" And I said, "I don't know anything about them. All I know is my daughters have their posters hanging up in their walls up there." He goes, "Oh, they're going to come down. They're going to be in Grand Rapids. They're going to be at my spot this weekend. Bring your kids down." And, I had just had a fight. I had a fight coming up, something along those lines, but I was broke with them broke. I have no shame in my game, guys. I tell how it is, okay? Broke with them broke. Money's tight. This is that and the other. I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do it. Ron, I got you covered. Don't worry about it, right? So take the kids. And before I had a gym in my basement, we used to travel to Grand Rapids, Detroit, Flint, Bay City, Saginaw, looking at fighters. Oh, this is the new Jerry Norris. Check him out. He's this, he's that, Now I've got the luxury of having a gym in my house. If you want to fight at my show, come work out. Or if I trust Jerry's a good coach, you said this guy's a good fighter. Okay, let's get his skills, But back then, that's how I would do it. So back then, I would feel sorry for my kids that'd be in a hot car driving to Grand Rapids to do all this, right? I said, "Girls, get in the car this weekend. We're gonna go this." They're like, "Where are you going? Where are you going?" It's, "Come on, we're gonna go look at a fighter." oh my God, Dad, not again, And the whole time I'm taking him to this concert, broke as hell, drive over there. And like I said, I had money to put gas in the car and got him some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the road trip. So we drive over there, and it's not till we get to the inside the venue they realize we're at a concert. And oh my God, this is like one of my favorite groups, And I remember they say before you pass, they say the greatest moments of your life will pass before your eyes. And I had one of those moments. I look over, there's my daughters, Selena and Brianna, singing at the top of their lungs, "Hey there, Delilah," and that was one of my special moments. And this is all done from a friend who didn't know my situation, threw some tickets my way, and that changed me in another way as far as giving, because you never know what people are going through.
Right.
You never know their circumstance. So we talk about just the random acts of kindness or everything. And to this day, I can almost get emotional right now, even thinking about that, where you were in life at that time, whether it be spiritually, financially, whatever, that you can't do it. Like you said, you had no hope. You got to get this. In that little act of kindness, man, it changed my life. And now you do that. It's like you don't even think about that. That smile, that handshake, that greeting is everything to somebody that they did lose hope. They are up against the wall. You don't know, like I said, when people I might open the door at that bus, you don't know what that person has just dealt with. They could have had the greatest day of their life or the worst day of their life, and you're getting them that one-on-one interaction right there is everything. So, dude, being kind and being considerate and like I said, just respecting humanity. We're all here on the same page, trying to progress in life and have success and for our families and all that. We all want the same things in life. So where's all this negativity kicking? I don't understand.
There's, one of my favorite quotes is by Chief Seattle. He says, "Man did not weave the web of life. He is merely a strand in it. So anything he does to the web, he does to himself."
Right.
And when he said that, he was talking about the environment, and he was talking about, negative impact on the environment and how that will come back to bite you.
Yeah.
But I also think about it on the positive side, right?
Right.
Every time you're kind to somebody else in the web, that kindness is going to come back to you. And I don't mean it necessarily in some mystical, magical way. I mean it in that if our community is getting stronger and kinder to each other and more compassionate, we're going to live in a really kick-ass community, and we're all going to thrive together, as opposed to separating and, all of the scarcity mentality.
That's true.
Drives me crazy.
That is so true. That is so true.
Did we forget to talk anything?
No, I don't believe so. Other than the tennis tournament coming up, that's one thing I'm very proud of.
Well, we talked about it.
Yeah, no. As far as refresh everybody of the date, it's August 14th, August 15th. Waverly High School. You can contact me through my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of that. But it's a great cause for two great men who did too much for our community, and just giving back to our community. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you for being on the show.
No, thanks for having me.
I'm going to have one more question for you, but let me tell these people some things. So tomorrow we've got Tamakaya on the show. She is going to do great. She's going to be co-hosting the Fledge Freedom Fest all weekend with me. So we'll be doing it live here at the Fledge, much like we are right now, and as part of the Freedom Fest. And then the other thing I forgot to mention is we're still figuring out when we're doing 99 Problems, but a Pitch Ain't One on the exact time. But we will be doing it live from the stage at the Fledge. So getting closer to that rap battle feel that I want to have with 99 Problems. So
love that.
And yeah, we'll be here every day for, you're episode 294. So I've got 61 left.
That's what's up.
71 left. My math is not good today, I guess. And how would you like to take us out?
Let me see. I have two quotes.
All right.
That I live by. One is Rob Hill Sr. And I'm going to mess up the quote, but you'll get what he's trying to say, or what I'm trying to say. He says, "I wish you tunnel vision and you focus on what God put in your heart, opposed to the obstacles that man puts in your path." And that's pretty heavy if you think about that. We sit around and we take from ourselves when we stop to see what people are thinking about us. and it takes from what we're trying to achieve. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
as long as you continue to focus on what you're doing in life, whatever it may be, that's the way to be as successful as possible. And second of all, and I think it's very important as well, is Lauryn Hill. Love Lauryn Hill to death.
I love Lauryn Hill too, so I can't wait to hear this one.
And she says, when you submit your will to the opinion of others, a part of you dies. You know, you've got to live your own truth. You know, if you believe it, you stick with it, stay the course. A lot of other people might not follow what you're doing. They might not agree with it. You would never let anybody change your plan and your goal in life, you know, your direction in life. And when you submit your will to the opinion of others, that's what you do. Nowadays, people are so, oh my God, what are they going to say? What am I going to say about me? And if you're true to with your conviction and what you really want to do in life, it doesn't matter what anybody's thinking about it. You know, what people think about you is not your problem.
Not your business.
Not your business. Yeah.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to add.
What's up, brother? Go ahead.
This morning, I got an inspiring quote that's on the screen, and I think that it's relevant to what we're saying. And it's by Henry Thoreau, who said, most men lead lives of quiet desperation and go to the grave with the song still in them. And not everybody's doing what they should be doing. They're not doing what they were born to do. Absolutely. And, you know, that's part of what we're going to be talking about this weekend with freedom. If you are subjugated to your job or debt or whatever, you're also not free. You know, obviously, if you're discriminated against and oppressed and all of that's very clear. Yeah. But how many of us in America can really say that we're free because we're subjugated to having to do something that we don't want to do? That's true. That is not freedom. And that's what consumerism will do to us. It's what racism will do to us. And it's what this government, these big institutions, and these big corporations are doing to us. Yeah. I love you, y'all.
Love you, my back brother. Thank you for your time.
Thank you too.
You're the man, Jerry.
Everyone, stay tuned not stay tuned, but come by tomorrow and see what's happening. And if you want to see all of this live happening, come to the Fledge anytime you want over the weekend. We will be here all of the time. So Fledge Freedom Fest, Ron DeLeon, the tennis tournament in August. Don't forget about any of us. Love y'all. Talk to you later. See ya.